How do you describe a problem facing a country? In one of my previous videos, I spoke about that of Ghana. Now let me show you. In this video, I'm going to talk about a simple way or give you tips on how to describe problems facing a country. So our focus here is on the problems facing Ghana. We categorize them into three, and then we have social problems, political problems, and then economic problems. In one of my videos, I spoke about all these and then gave examples of these problems. I would like you to join me as we look at how to describe a problem. So it will be expected every candidate who is sitting for the BECE or a final exam to know what the issues are and how to put them on paper so they can be understood. Now, if marks are going to be awarded, there are areas or there is a structure that the examiners expect you to put your answer. Okay, so what we have to do here is to look at the tips. I'll take you through them quickly. And if you didn't watch the previous video where I gave examples of those problems, I would like you to look for it, problems of development in Ghana, so you can understand what we are doing here in this particular. And if this is the first time you are watching, scroll down and subscribe, touch the bell. Anytime a new video drops, you get access to it. Now let's go into the tips. So I'll give you about 4 or 5 major tips on how to describe a problem. So as a candidate, if you sit before the paper and the question says, describe 4 social problems facing Ghana, that is very simple to do. But when you have the information, it makes it very easy. And I always advise to them that if you want to get these areas, you need to be current with issues. You need to know what is going on, be abreast with current affairs. And that is what we are going to look at right here. Tip number 1. Now, if you have a problem, you pick any of them. If there are 4 that you are presenting on the paper for the examiner, and you have social problems like teenage pregnancy, high illiteracy rates, high rate of road accidents, high crime rates, malnutrition, HIV or AIDS, if these are your problems, I'm just going to use one and then demonstrate. So we have, my tip number 1 is that if you pick the problem, have an idea about what it is. Perhaps if there is a keyword in it, try as much as possible to define it or explain it. But it should be brief. Remember, you are dealing with time. And what you are, that point you are explaining will earn you 3 marks or 4 marks. So tip number 1, define the problem or the keyword or words. So you can do that in just one statement. Now, remember, before you do this, you have to state your point. So put your point in a statement form. So if you are picking something like teenage pregnancy, so teenage pregnancy is one of the social problems facing Ghana. Full stop. You get a mark for the point. Then you move, go straight to the explanation, and then do this. So what is teenage pregnancy? So if I give an example here, I'm trying to say that defining the problem or the keyword or words, the words there are teenage pregnancy. So you can start by saying that after stating your point, teenage pregnancy is a term used to describe the situation where adolescent teenagers or teenage girls get pregnant or become pregnant. And these people are from age 13 to 19. So that ends it for that particular statement. And that should earn you some marks. Tip number 2, you need to go further. The examiners will be expecting that you give some causes of this problem. So in that same point, after giving the meaning, give or state at least 2 causes of the problem. So you just do that, state at least 2 causes of the problem. So after I've done the build-up, I've given the meaning already, I go further to state that this situation or teenage pregnancy in Ghana is mostly due to poverty and broken homes. So I have put 2 different points there to show the causes of teenage pregnancy. Okay, so people can go further and talk about irresponsible parenting and influence of the negative influence of the mass media, and some can also list the case of negative peer pressure or influence. All right, so I have given my courses. You can do yours as well. Tip number 3. Here, this is also very critical. A smart student will do a lot of research about the problems, and the examiner expects that you show clear understanding of the problem that you are trying to describe. So give some records or provide some statistics. Provide some statistics, if any. This, if you are not too sure, don't do it. If you provide wrong figures, it's going to make the examiners mark you down. All right, so be sure of the information you are putting there. So if you are talking about a case of teenage pregnancy, if perhaps you read reports, you check news portals or something else, you can quote those news portals and what they said. So on City Newsroom, for instance, data provided by the Ghana Health Service has shown that about 555,575 teenagers got pregnant in 5 years. That is between the year 2016 and the year 2021. Okay, so that's okay for that particular one. So when you do that, the examiner, it tells the examiner that, oh, this student is brilliant, you are intelligent, you have read and you know what you are doing. If you are talking about a case of inflation rate, so inflation rate, you can also give a data over there. So I'll use that one too when I'm done with my tips. So because that is an economic problem, I'm using teenage pregnancy for now. All right, so tip number 4, after providing or stating some statistics or records over there, you can go ahead and then give or state a major effect or consequence of this, or outcome or result. So of the problem, we all know that if you build a point like this, you should tell the examiners what is actually happening in the country, looking at this situation or menace. And that is what is going to make people or leaders get up and then do something or take an action to mitigate this or to curb this particular problem or issue. So for me, I think one effect is early parenthood, where you have the adolescent becoming a school dropout as well. And I can mention that in my point. State it in a nice, simple statement, construct your sentences, put punctuation marks over there. Where it has to be full stop, put your full stop there, comma, and then do that nicely. You don't need to use big words to impress the examiner. They are not interested in that. Simplicity is a key, and it's nice to write things in simple terms. All right, so this is how you end your point. You can conclude it nicely with the effect, and then definitely the follow-up question will talk about the measures. So that one, you deal with that separately. We are looking at how you describe a problem when you pick it as your point. Okay, so now let me go to the case of inflation, because that is an economic problem. So in defining inflation, your first point, first of all, I have to state my point. Inflation is one of the economic problems facing Ghana. Then I go further to state that inflation is a persistent, I'm defining it, that's the first statement for my explanation. Persistent increase in the prices of goods and services. That is how you can define that. Very simple. Put your full stop there. Then go on. What is causing this situation? So I raise two points over there to show that these are the causes in one statement and put my full stop over there. Inflation in Ghana is mostly or mainly caused by the depreciation of the Ghana cedi. And maybe somebody can also mention, or I'll try and say that a scarcity of products, yeah, dollarization of the economy, and so on and so forth. So some of these things can be possible causes of inflation in the country. When you look at the statistics, yes, someone can raise a student who has read and know the current situation, what is going on. Beginning with this year, what the Ghana Statistical Service has done is that they've given a lot of records about inflation. They do it year on year. So compared to last year, when we entered this year in January, we're around 13 point something. Now getting to May, it just accelerated and hit at 27.6. And as it hit that percentage, you can state it and then mention the year. So in May, okay, inflation rate increase or hit to 37.6%. 27.6%. So that ends it for that. You can talk about the fact that recently records from the Ghana Statistical Service have shown that in the month of June, inflation has hit 29.8. That's about 30 percent. Okay, so when you have these numbers, just be sure of them and then put them in your description. It gives makes your explanation or description very nice and also understandable. It tells that you have read and you have a lot of information. Now, what is the effect that's led to what? High cost of living. That is it. Or low standard of living as well. You can put it in that manner and then put your full stop over there. Yes, so you can also pick an issue about electoral malpractice, which is a political problem. So we have coup d'etat, and then you can give records about the successful coup d'etats that have occurred in our history, starting from 1966 and then to the 1980s. And you can also talk about some of the effects over there. These are things. So read wide about the problem and be sure. I always encourage or advise students that when you are describing any of the problem, make sure you have a lot of information about it. And don't choose problems that you struggle to provide information on. And that is how you present. I believe that this short or simple demonstration has opened your eyes, and I will urge you to practice more. Pick any of the problems, explain. If you have questions, go scroll down, get to the comment section, put your questions there, and I will try as much as possible to address them, either as a reply or in a subsequent video or lesson. All right. Thank you for watching JCL tutorials and stay blessed. Bye for now.